Hello and welcome back to Card Spotlight. This week we're taking a look at Gabrian Commander, a very mobile, aggressive creature with a 4 attack and 2 life stat line, and of course with a bunch of other abilities as well. So he has charge free and aquatic, which means it could be a great Faeria harvester, but can also chase down your opponent's creatures. And if you do draw a card that costs 7, he becomes a 5/3 with flying, and then the aquatic side of it, which is one of the downsides, is overridden. Now this card is very vulnerable to removal thanks to its 2 life, and even when it gets empowered through the 7 cost draw up to 3 life, still very vulnerable to removal. Flameburst and Wind Soldier taking care of it. But this card features in 2 decks, blue 7s, which I talked about in the article on the hub, but also this very interesting deck made by Remora, which is a creature-based deck that uses creatures with higher attack than life to empower Firebringer, but also 3 costs, so when they get hit by Tail of the Old Turtle, they become 1 cost creatures, which empower the Illusion of Grandeur. So I've called this deck Blue-Red Zoo. You know, it's a creature-based deck, only runs 3 events if you don't include the campfires from the Outland Ranger. And this deck is primarily about using creatures as your kind of removal, really, and then eventually overwhelming your opponent with massive Firebringers and Illusions of Grandeur. So I'm not too sure how this deck will fare up against the rest of the meta. We just had a big balance patch, which nerfs some of these star legendaries, so maybe it does a little bit better, I'm not sure, but we're going to take it for a spin on the ladder and see how it performs, and I have high hopes that this deck will do pretty well. So let's get into the matches and see how I do. Our first match is going up against Lou90, none other than the man himself. So this deck's kind of weird. I have to admit, it's not a conventional Faeria deck. The Zoo archetype hasn't really seen much development in Faeria so far. This is probably the closest thing we have to Zoo, which is interesting, really, that it's taken this long for a Zoo-style deck to appear in Faeria. And big shouts to Remora for inventing this deck and coming up with the idea, because I actually think it's really smart. The synergies and how the creatures work together, very smart deck building, so well played to Remora for coming up with this idea. Now, I haven't played this deck a tremendous amount, but I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to see if I can make things happen with it. And we're going to push down one side. Now, the reason I've built from outside my orb is because we have Horsemaster, and it's much easier to Horsemaster from down here than it is to go across like this. Now, there was a balance patch today, and that's kind of give the meta a bit of a shake. Funnily enough, this deck is from a deck building competition called the Meta Shaker. We haven't seen much blue jump since the change. Prophet of the Tide got nerfed, and it is in this list still. It still empowers Firebringer. It may allow us to be more aggressive, so I'm fine with leaving it in the deck. Now, I just need to decide how I want to proceed. I think I just build a lake, and I move up, and I play a commander. And as you can see, Hateseed also features in this deck. Hateseed hasn't seen much play in quite some time. The angry archetype, as we like to call it, the Firebringer Hateseed synergies, has kind of fallen off in favor of more Faeria-based combat. So the Red Rush decks are now running combat creatures that gain economy. We've even seen the return of Crumbling Golem, or maybe the first time Crumbling Golem's really seen much play. That got buffed today as well. That's now a 7/6 for 5 Faeria. So it does have that angry support, but I don't know if it'll be enough to push out the Faeria combat creatures, the Underground Boys, from the Red Rush Spotlight. Now in this game, this could potentially be Dreamreaver. It could be 7s. I don't really know right now. Building from outside your orb suggests that it's control or a slower deck. Now, Luke probably knows what I'm playing. When you see these two guys together, you're going to have a good idea of what's going on. These two only ever feature together in these Zoo-style decks. And that's an Aurora. That's fair. Aurora also being changed, now costing 3 lakes, so keep that in mind. Now this deck doesn't run removal. Like I said, your creatures are kind of your removal, that's how it works. And this could be 7s, you know, there's a commander. I was talking about in the article on the hub about how Commander's first home is the blue 7s list. And this commander suggests to me that this is probably blue 7s. Let's take care of this. Like I said, we're just using our creatures as removal. We'll play an Axe Grinder. And then I guess we'll pass. Now, I would love to play Darkstalker, but I'd rather play Darkstalker at its reduced cost. So, Darkstalker mainly comes into play when you have a Campfire or a Tail of the Old Turtle. Now, Darkstalker is going to be the primary way we empower the Illusion of Grandeur out of Tail of the Old Turtle. So, if you have Campfires, that's the best time to start using them to get these cheap Darkstalkers. And there you go. The second ability trigger in there. The first time you draw a card with a base cost of 7 or higher, gain +1/+1 and flying. So both of these guys are now flying. They're more mobile. We'll see what Lou decides to do with the second commander. This one will now trade off with my Axe Grinder, whereas this one's going for a more aggressive play. Prophet of Tide. Now, Prophet of Tide got changed as well. Move this creature's land twice, so Prophet can no longer move other creatures on land. It can only move itself. Now, this may still be useful in this list because it is an angry card. It has a 4 attack and 2 life, so it will empower the Firebringer. However, I don't know how useful moving a lake aggressively is going to be in the long run, so it may need to be cut in future lists if you do decide to play this. I don't really have much going on, unfortunately. I'm going to take a draw. Another Axe Grinder. Okay. I might just protect my Axe Grinder. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. I guess I could trade with this one. Allow the aggressive one to go through, so he doesn't collect any Faeria off this well. But then again, what I could do as well is I could kill this one and just play like Axe Grinder Darkstalker or Axe Grinder Prophet and just block this in. It'll trade with the Axe Grinder. Okay. Okay. I've made my mistake. I want to protect my Axe Grinder. I'm actually just going to use Prophet and then not even bother me. Oh, yeah. So I can just do the shimmy. So that they've changed the way it interacts. And before you selected a lake and then, or a land and then moved it back and forth. But now, because of course this has changed, it just moves itself. And look at this Hate Seed, 2 cost. Very strong. If I pick up Tail of the Old Turtle, I'm going to be super happy. Beirut, maybe? No, another commander. Interesting. Maybe this is... Oh, a 7-cost Colossus. So Lou's kind of understood that I'm trying to apply as much pressure as possible. Speak of the devil. There it is. Tail of the Old Turtle. Firebringer, Hate Seed, and Outland Ranger. So these 2 cards and the Darkstalker are going to empower my Illusion of Grandeur. I just need to decide where my stuff's going to go. I'm going to lose... Probably going to lose 2 creatures to this. So I probably do it like this. Take care of this guy. Maybe even double neutral around. I mean, I could play Outland Ranger here and then just play a big Hate Seed, but I'm just vulnerable to Frogify. However, Lou's not really doing much. Maybe I just go for another mountain, actually. Do this. And look at that. Look how quickly you can flood the board once you get a Tail of the Old Turtle off. It's just so important for this deck. And now Frogify is required to finish this off, which will leave it with 5 life, which allows me to campfire this and take the clear on the Wave Crash Colossus, which is really nice. Now, I think the biggest problem this deck has is Firebringer is your primary win condition because it costs 4 Faeria. If you're ever behind, you can +1 into a Firebringer. Illusion of Grandeur, on the other hand, is a lot more expensive, very pricey. So it's far more difficult to get this out if you're behind. Interesting, okay. Then using the Battletoads to protect. So I'm kind of hoping I guess he's kind of hoping my Firebringer finishes this off, which is pretty reasonable, I think. I can just campfire, clear, hate seed. Could even take a draw. Here we go, okay. Campfire. Play Commander here. Maybe we save up for Illusion, actually. Saving up for Illusion isn't a bad idea. Yeah, let's save up for Illusion. We have Illusion next turn. It's a 14-12. That's a pretty big stat line for a creature at 7. If you think that Vision Forces are 7/7s for 6, or Oak Fathers are like 6/9, 6/10, 11s on average for 7 Faeria. Getting a 14 attack. It's pretty beastly. I want to get it here. I might take this as a lake next turn and just slam it right in the middle. Force Lou to have an answer to it. Takes a draw. I'm going to clear my Firebringer, as to be expected. Anything that comes down here, I'm just going to run my guys in. And I guess this is where my problem is with Illusion. Illusion's just a bit too expensive. I feel that with this deck, you want to play like 2 creatures a turn minimum. You want to trade off into their creature and then play 2 more to overwhelm them. And Illusion really stops you from doing that because it's so expensive. One of my biggest issues with the card. This is a really good lake spot. Farm Boy! I was running Farm Boy in my blue 7s earlier. Farm Boy's really good in blue 7s. Simply because you get to you get to turn this into a Phantasm, which is really strong. Alright, we can actually Horse Master this over, clear, play a lake, and then play Illusion. But then I can't even, no I can't, I'm gonna Faeria, I need an extra Faeria for that. I feel like the Horsemaster aggressive lake is still worthwhile. Maybe just play a Commander. Yeah, that seems decent. I'll move this into double collection. I'll clear this off. Unless I take value. Actually, I'll probably just take value. So I'm gonna clear the Farm Boy here instead. Move this up to this slot. And then play the Commander. Yeah, so I took the value clear there over the Farm Boy, because if I leave the Farm Boy up, it's just going to get Phantasmed. 100% just going to get Phantasmed. If he Phantasms this, there's less value, because it's a free. Trade, yep. Archons are pretty strong. Another Wave Crash. That's fair. So another Horsemaster would be really sweet. But 10/10 Firebringers are pretty good too. So we're going to go for Firebringer instead. I'm going to move this in to make sure this Colossus can't collect. Then we're going to pass. So if the Frogify comes down here, I just replenish with an Illusion of Grandeur. If a Frogify comes down, there's a good chance that it doesn't die as well, because the Colossus is probably going to clear the 4/1. No? Oh, I might use Emperor's Command then instead. So now Campfire is a great option here. So if I pick up an Outland Ranger, oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. we'll play this in a more... Well, we can actually move this across and then we can play it here instead. And then a 0-cost hate seed. So as you can see, we're applying loads of pressure here. It's really difficult for blue 7s to... And there we have it. So it's funny because I was told, if you haven't read my article, go over to the hub and check it out. But yeah, I wrote an article about Gabrian Commander talking about how blue 7s is its main home, you know, where it was first utilized. But as you can see here, blue 7s just really struggles, I feel, in general. It's just a kind of a bottom tier control deck. Whereas I feel this deck has so much potential. Give it a few more cards and I feel it could be a strong contender in the future. But this was a great matchup because it gives you an idea of how Gabrian Commander functions in both decks, in both the blue 7s and in the Zoo style deck. But that was a good game. Oh, and little newbie's just commenting now. I guess Lou is streaming right now. Little newbie, one of the top players in the game, and he's talking about, of course, this deck, the Monster Mash. But yeah, good game to Lou. It was nice to see blue 7s being used, and we'll go on to our next match. Into our next match, we're going against Fence E. All right, so Fence E, and we get to keep. I'll keep the Horsemaster. I'll throw the Hate Seed. I'll keep the Commander. Double Horsemaster. What I like about keeping a Horsemaster, not necessarily for its ability, but just because I have a turn 1 Harvester and it's guaranteed. I guess I could have thrown the Commander away there as well, but I quite like that Commander can cover a lot of ground. I find that really useful. So my first Horsemaster won't be used for its ability. It's literally being used to gather Faeria, but that's fine. I'm on Explore as well, so I can go Explore Lake into Lake Commander. All right, we have a Rush deck. Still keeping with my original plan. You know what? I'm actually not gonna... No, I have to do it. That's sad. I kind of wanted to get my Commander, say, on this side, but I'd have to go like Lake, like Mountain Lake, or something like that, which I'm not too sure about. So Red Rush has picked up in popularity. The combat variation, I played a lot of it myself. It's the Dark Stalker. Dark Stalker's not that helpful right now. Could just double neutral straight across. You know what, I might just go for another Horsemaster just to make sure I get these lands. So I'm collecting off 2 wilds. We'll see if Fancy decides to go for a clear on one of my Horsemasters. There's no mountains yet, so there's no Cypher's Wrath. It's the first mountain, so yeah, just going to take care of my first Horsemaster, which is fine. And then we'll probably see a Master Swordsman. Now, Master Swordsman has picked up in a lot of popularity recently. I'm kind of hoping... I drew a Campfire there off the Outland Ranger. But sadly, not going to happen. I'm going to have to trade off. I could wait and get value with these, but I don't think it's going to happen. So I'm just going to go for a Dark Stalker. Yeah, an Outland Ranger there would have been incredible, because not only would I have kept my Horsemaster alive, I would have been able to play my Outland Ranger as just a creature, maybe here. And then I could have played one Darkstalker. So I could have really flooded the board with that one event. Just shows how powerful it can be. So trade in. It's fine. Might see a Cypher's Wrath come down on this guy. Which is unfortunate. I kind of hope there isn't, to be honest. But, you know, what can you do sometimes? It happens. Brigand, Gift of Steel. No Flame Burst. Okay, I'd rather a Flame Burst come on this than a Cypher's Wrath, because that's 3 damage that isn't going to my orb. I'm already super far behind, as you can see. But next turn, I have a pretty good combo. So perhaps we just... Actually double neutral up. Yeah, let's do that. Let's push some aggression of our own. Because next turn, if I pick up an axe grinder off the tail of the old turtle, I can play an aggressive axe grinder as well, potentially. Or maybe I just go for an aggro axe grinder anyway. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see what he plays. There we go, Crumbling Golem showing up since it's reworked. 7/6 now, very powerful creature. There's my axe grinder, but not off the tail of the old turtle, unfortunately. So let's tail first. Okay. This makes me want a +1. So I feel this is probably going to be a very hard matchup, simply because I'm going to take a lot of damage this turn. We'll see if Fancy decides to go for trades. A Gift of Steel would be really powerful here. Gift of Steel the Brigand, just hit the Darkstalker, then go in for 7 damage with the Golem. Alternatively, could collect Faeria, kill the Darkstalker with the Golem, and then push damage with the Brigand. But no, just going to go in, it looks like. And there 5 Faeria. Was on 3 Faeria, but now has 5. So we could probably play a creature. Oh, see, without that combat hit there, there'd be no way you'd play 2 removal spells, and that just goes to show how powerful the combat creatures are in a Red Rush build. But now I just can't do anything. I think Red Rush kind of murders this deck pretty easily. So we'll just throw in a concede there. So we're down 1-1. Let's go into our next match and see if I can bring up the score 2-1. And go out of this card spotlight with a better win ratio than my losses. Into our last match of card spotlight this week, Raphael is going to be our opponent. And this is a fantastic hand. I'm going to keep this. I was just thinking that this list, this zoo deck, is very similar to just mono blue. Now, if mono blue ever loses initiative on board, it's usually very hard to get it back unless you're running Ninja Toad. And I feel that this deck is exactly the same in that respect, simply because you don't have any removal. You have red cards, but you don't have the removal events to go with it. So yeah, very, very similar in that respect. And this is a very nice opener. 2 creatures coming down straight away. One of them's being cost reduced, being the Darkstalker, so that's going to empower the Illusion of Grandeur. And this is already going to start building towards our Firebringer. Now this is just a forest so far. Could be more. Could be a mountain follow-up soon. Could be Crackthorn. I'd rather mono green, to be honest, than Crackthorn, because Crackthorn has removal. Mono green's gonna have to fight me in combat, which is what I want. I think that's where this deck really excels. Now Commander is really good here. So if I play Commander can kill the Water Elemental next turn. That's really strong. This allows me to kill my opponent's Harvester. Now my opponent either has to build land here and move in, or use a power-up, or remove my Commander. This is pretty much, I would say, Commander's strongest asset. The ability to move around the map very easily when there's a lot of ocean tiles. Now, when we get into the late game, the Commander becomes less effective because there's going to be loads of tiles in the way. You'll have a couple of lakes, so you'll be able to move around a little bit, but without the flying, the aquatic becomes a lot worse. Whereas in the early game, as you can see here, this Commander has tremendous amounts of influence on the board. I can double collect, I can push aggressively. On the following turn, I can clear the Wood Elemental. You can see land blocking me. So completely respecting this Commander. And that's a very good line there from Raphael. So well done. Dodging the clear on the Wood Elemental. But now this gives me a good follow-up. So I can move here. And I can double neutral. And I can just shift everything up. Now this gives me the Axe Grinder spot. Now my Commander is covering this land, so it cannot be taken unless it's removed. So this guarantees the Axe Grinder spot for me. Now, one good way to counter this is, of course, just build a land here, and I can't do anything, so I have to make this a lake. or I just leave it there until I'm ready to make a mountain. So I'll probably, if we do see a land come out here defensively, I'll probably just build a mountain here instead to get that axe grinder spot and get in to collect from the wells. And then potentially build another mountain here to move into double collection. And then I'll just try and take this mountain when I can. Now there could be a teleport, could teleport over Elderwood Embrace clear, then take the land. So there's things you can do here, but this commander is currently just camping that spot for me and collecting Faeria. Oh, there is a Horsemaster, okay. So I'm curious to see if the power-up's going to come down. So this actually works out perfectly for me because my opponent built the land here to move on. So what would have been better, actually, is playing the Horsemaster here, zipping across with the one land, and then playing the land there. Because now I get to do this and just shimmy all these guys up. Now this isn't that useful right now. But you know what? I might just do it anyway. And we're going to move over here. And then I might push some lands up this way to collect off this well. And then we can take care of the Horsemaster with the Prophet. I actually feel like Prophet is one of the weaker cards in this list now since the change. I thought it might work out, but I feel it can be dropped. I would probably just put another Horsemaster. I would even consider trying Crumbling Golem now, just as a bulky creature to help you in the early mid-game. But yeah, there's things for you guys to try out if you don't want to use Prophet anymore. It doesn't have as good a synergies as you would have with, say, Blue Jump, where you're setting up a lake on a well to play a Mystic Beast. If this was a red creature, it'd be different because you could set up a mountain on a well for your axe grinder. Oh, he's building land for me. That's very nice of him. So if I draw Horsemaster now, I'm going to be really happy. Oh, he's thinking about it. Any other plays? Just a Wood Element? I'm curious of why the Wood Elemental is here, I guess. Just as a defensive card. Which is fair. Axe Grinder. Very good draw. I think I'm just going to take a mountain. And move this now to contest this guy. We'll go for the Axe Grinder. We'll collect a Faeria here, and then we'll Campfire. Just to make sure these trade. If he Elderwoods, I'll just run both of them in, but I don't want to give this for free. I guess I could have not bothered with the Campfire there and just let the Wood Elemental eat this and just go for a clean trade-off with the Wood Elemental. But you never know. There could be like Emperor's Commands. There could be double buff. Could be a lot of things. Maybe I should have moved the Outland Ranger up as well. I'm not sure. Yeah, actually, I feel like I should have moved the Outland Ranger. Just in case double buff comes on and I can just run these two guys in and play like Hateseed Firebringer next turn. Definitely wants to eat up that Darkstalker. Here comes the power-up. Cheeky Caretaker. Voice of Truth. Okay. Curious. Curious because my Axe Grinder lives. I guess it does block me from playing anything on that spot. Which is good in its own right. And just another Wood Elemental. So all the Wood Elementals so far. And this could be the first aggressive push. No, it's going to feed, okay. So I'm curious if something big's going to come down here. I do have cards to defend with, which is good. Again, like, see, I just don't feel this like this card does enough right now. I guess I could move my lake aggressively. That's not bad. Let's take a draw. Another Axe Grinder. Take the clear. We'll move. We'll actually move this up this time. Yeah, maybe I do play something down here. Maybe I just play a Hate Seed. Nah, we'll pass. Like, it's not like he's gonna play anything that can one-shot me next turn. Maybe something that can two-shot me, and then I could set. But he's gonna have summoning sicknesses. It's gonna take a turn to do anything. I'm gonna kill the Silent Horsemaster next turn anyway. The Prophet of Tides actually worked out okay there. I'm kind of on the fence about them in this list or in general, but we'll see. I feel that was actually pretty decent. I set an aggressive lake for my illusions and my other blue creatures. Faeria Golem. Hello, hello. So Campfire is very good now, because I can just clear it with the Axe Grinder and the Prophet. Replay Axe Grinder, play a Firebringer. Could even like shimmy to the right now and take an aggressive mountain and then clear it, and then play Axe Grinder one side, Firebringer on the other side. There's lots of good ways I can utilize this land. The clock is ticking. What's this? Horsemaster? Okay. Horsemaster. Just lots of Horsemasters. Alright, I'm getting the additional mountain. It's good for me. I didn't get the Campfire. It's kind of sad. I'm gonna play the Firebringer. No, I played the Axe Grinder this side. Wait, if I play the Axe Grinder this side and the Firebringer this side, I can still chase this down. Yeah, let's play the Axe Grinder this side, because it's just more awkward. He has to build land. And then let's play the Commander. Play the Firebringer. Play the Hate Seed. So now we've just flooded the board. Next turn I can take a draw. So I draw 2 cards. If I draw a Tail of the Old Turtle, I probably won. It's going to be very hard for green to take complete control of the board again. I'm quad collecting next turn, potentially. It depends on what this Faeria Golem gets up to. But a Firebringer at 9/9 is pretty tough for green to deal with off the bat. They need like Version Force and a power-up, usually. But if that comes down, that's fine. I'll just run my Firebringer plus something into it and take care of it. That's kind of what you just do with this deck. And just play more creatures and replenish the board. Voice of Truth. Oh, okay, that's a good answer. Makes it a 1/1. Uh-oh. Well, if Faeria Golem goes for the clear on the 1/1, I'm not that bothered. I'd kind of rather him clear the 4/2 here. Because I still collect Faeria off the left-hand well. So land coming down, definitely going for the Axe Grinder here. There's no reason you build land there. But the 1/1 still gets to do stuff. It still gets to collect Faeria for me, which is pretty handy. Shamanic Dance, really? Wow, okay. I did not consider that. Axe Grinder's pretty good. Campfire. So I'm going to collect here, force him to chase me. So can't really do much in this position. I'm going to move it here to move into double collection. Yeah, then we'll go for like Axe Grinder into Outland Ranger. Push the 1 damage here. And we'll just pass. So these 3 creatures with a campfire can kill this Faeria Golem, unless it gets powered up even further. I really need Tail of the Old Turtle. Tail of the Old Turtle will be really good right now. I have lots of Faeria to work with. I'd just be able to dump loads of creatures down, which is what I want to do. And I could get overwhelmed here by the green creatures. I kind of considered this game won until that second Faeria Golem comes in and the Shamanic Dance, because it stopped me from pushing damage with this 4-2, which is kind of a big deal. It's not really an effective way I can deal with this, but all the Voice of Truths have been used, hopefully. Maybe there's one more, which means my illusions after a Tail of the Old Turtle will be pretty strong. Actually, if I pick up an illusion off a draw, this will get powered up to a 5-3. I can then campfire this, and I can clear the Faeria Golem, which gives me time. And I probably win this game the longer it goes on, because my Firebringers will outscale all of Green's creatures, especially my my illusions. My illusions will 100% outscale them. Another Faeria Golem down here would be really difficult for me to come back from. But we'll see how it goes. Grove Guardian, that's kind of on the level of a Faeria Golem, sort of. But it makes, actually I just can't clear this now. It just makes life more difficult. Right, we'll tail first. Interesting. Tail again? Again, kind of awkward. This Grove Guardian ruined everything. Well, everything I have costs 0 now, pretty much. Horsemaster. Oh, that might have been handy, I'm not sure. No, this is taunted. There's not a lot I can do about it. Yeah, this is feeling pretty bleak. I was very confident before, but my confidence has shrunk. That's for sure. All these Demon Wranglers are kind of useless as well. Yeah, it's looking bad, guys. All of a sudden, things have switched around. I drew the Tail of the Old Turtles too late. Imagine if I drew those like 2-3 turns ago. I'd be so far ahead. I just can't kill Faeria Golems very easily. I guess I should have committed more resources to defense until I stabilized, and then kind of went from there. Shamanic Dance again! Oh my goodness! Shamanic Dance is like a super hard counter. Well, these guys don't really matter anymore. I think that's lost. I'm so sad. I felt like I was so far ahead. But I didn't draw this light. I didn't draw another Firebringer. I just needed a Tail of the Old Turtles so badly. And it just goes to show like how important that card is to this deck functioning. It's a pretty big deal. So give him a well played, and that's going to be it. I'm pretty sad I lost that, but I don't know. Maybe the profits could be like better slots to help with that matchup specifically. But all in all, good games to everyone. I really enjoyed playing this deck. That wraps up this episode of Card Spotlight. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And this deck is a lot of fun. I'd recommend giving it a go. I'd probably take out the 2 Prophets now that I think about it and add a Horsemaster. Maybe even take out the Demon Wranglers for Crumbling Golem so we just have a meaty creature to help fight any early and mid game. But there's a few things you could probably do with this list. So have a bit of an experiment, and maybe you guys can find a really solid list to make this maybe go up a tier. If we can get this deck to tier 2, I'd be pretty happy. If you like this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up and a subscribe if you'd like to keep up to date of when my content goes live. If you'd like to know more about Faeria or find more information about decks and stuff like that, check out the hub. We have all the latest decks, articles and guides from the community and myself. So until next time guys, take care and have a great day.